Right. It's 21 March 2025. And today I'm going to be giving you the trending news for today. So today is a Friday, 21 March. So it is a holiday here in South Africa. So there is no work taking place. And I'm going to be taking you through some of the most important stories that are taking place in the region. In fact, during a day like this in South Africa, most newspapers don't even publish because people travel to the royal homes. So South Africa still has a lot of people that live both in town and in the villages, especially in Gauteng. Most people come from Limpopo, from KZN, they work inside Johannesburg, and then they travel to their homes when there's a holiday. So a very quiet day for news. But on Zimbabwe, we're going to be on top every day. I'm going to be giving you news twice a day until we get to the protest, which is taking place on the 31st of March 2025. And this protest is very important. It's called Operation Law and Order. So let's look at this communique that has been issued yesterday, Operation Law and Order. And you can see Comrade Nyoka Emabun on the left and Comrade Bombshell on the right. This is amazing. I cannot believe what I'm looking at. Do you see the bomb? Do you see the snake on the left? That is Comrade Nyoka Emabun over there and Comrade Bombshell. We are going to see something very interesting on the 31st of March, and I'll be here to give you these stories. So what I want to start with is the panic that has gripped the Mhlangwa government. I explained to you that Mhlangwa has already taken his children. Most of his family is now out of the country. Now that there's been a threat on some of the family members of Mhlangwa, for example, Pokelo was mentioned, you can be sure that most of the family members have already left. And these guys, they've got a lot of resources outside the country. My understanding is that Mhlangwa has stockpiled billions and billions outside the country. However, the majority of his money is in Zimbabwe, especially the money that is being managed by billionaire Tagwire. So that money that is being managed in Zimbabwe by Tagwire, Wicknell, and Scott Sakupanya. Those are the three key people that have got Mhlangwa's money. That is why Mhlangwa is still hanging around in Zimbabwe. But most of Mhlangwa's family has already left. However, there is something else playing out inside Zimbabwe's government, and that is the departure of many officials who are not necessarily people in politics. So this is senior government officials that know what is happening on both sides, on both the Chiwenga side and on the Mhlangwa side. So the people on the Mhlangwa side are leaving because they think if Mhlangwa is removed, they're going to be in trouble, there's going to be violence. And people on the Chiwenga side are leaving because they really don't know if Chiwenga is going to make it, if he's going to succeed with the removal of Mhlangwa. So they believe that if Mhlangwa is finally, or Mhlangwa comes out on top, they'll be victimized and some of them will even be killed. So what has happened is that over the past 2 weeks, according to military sources, there's been an application of over 200 emergency passports among senior officials in Mhlangwa's government, and 174 of those applications, I don't know about the number, the actual number, but that is the number that is being pushed around. Between 170 and 180 passports, emergency passports have been applied within this past week, especially after Comrade Bombshell came out and gave his speech. So you remember this speech.
South Africa, ma issues in Zimbabwe, Tilodlana issues in Zimbabweans. Issues in Zimbabweans, issues edu. Right? And the Taka Batana, so the problems are what ita. Right? tataura neose mapolitical players, vana Chamisa, vana Chibaya, vana Sikara, vana BT.
Right. This is crazy. No one is coming to help you. That is the message from Bombshell. So let me explain to you what Mhlangwa would be saying to assure his people. Mhlangwa would be saying, if the military intervenes, we are going to call South Africa to help us, or there's going to be this and that person to help us. And now the guys in government are seeing that this is actually not true. Bombshell was able to give a speech. He is sitting somewhere in Zimbabwe in a military barrack and is not getting arrested. So they know that there is a problem. And some people know where he is. They know which barrack he's sitting in right now. All the war veterans that are being protected by the military. And it's clear that Mnangagwa doesn't have control or total control of the situation. So this is what is pushing these guys to apply for these passports. Most of them don't have the diplomatic passports. They have ordinary passports. So I believe that diplomatic passports are only available to senators, MPs, and those officials that are designated. For example, if you look at Tungwarara, he's going to be obviously having a diplomatic passport. I've also seen people with diplomatic passports who are senators and MPs. However, most of these guys don't even need to travel to Zimbabwe. They've been sitting in the offices and suddenly they realize that danger is coming. So what is the danger? There is a big danger of violence breaking out. And that is military against military. Sections of Zimbabwe military fighting each other. There's a possibility of that happening very, very soon because there are split allegiances within the army of Zimbabwe. There are people who are close to Chiwenga. There are people who are close to Mnangagwa. There's also the issue of mercenaries. So mercenaries have been hired from different places. And I've mentioned specifically here, Sierra Leone, India, and also you've heard that Tanzania might be having some people, Kenya might be having some people, and some people from the UAE, but specifically India. And you saw yesterday what I showed you about the Ethiopians who went into South Africa from Zimbabwe and started firing at the police. So quite a number of armed people around. And this week is very critical. So on the 21st now, which means this particular week from today, I've explained to you that from today up to the 31st, which is about 12 days, is very important. Mnangagwa is going to be leaving Zimbabwe today. He's going to be going to Namibia to attend the inauguration of the president of Namibia. And this is happening today. Already, President Hakainde Hichilema has arrived there. I saw that yesterday. President Hakainde Hichilema has arrived after he met the outgoing official here, Victoria Kwakwa. She left, he met her, and then he went to Namibia. So Mnangagwa is going to go look at the shoes of President Hakainde Hichilema. That's amazing. I didn't see that. I'm just seeing that now. President Hakainde Hichilema looking very sporty over there. But what I'm saying is, Mnangagwa is leaving. He's going to meet other SADC officials. The conversation that is taking place is what is happening in Zimbabwe, how stable it is behind the scenes. He's going to be asked what is going on in Zimbabwe. And it's a very important conversation because Mnangagwa is the SADC chairman. And according to my military sources, they've said SADC is putting in place a contingency plan to say what happens if there is violence in Zimbabwe. What is the role of SADC? You might see a situation where SADC might have to intervene in Zimbabwe if the fight between Chiwenga and Mnangagwa becomes a military fight. There is that possibility that there will be a fight, one arm of the military fighting another arm of the military, and a split in the country, a possible split with areas like Matabeleland, Midlands, Mashonalands, so the Mashonaland areas. And there's a possibility there that there could be a separation at the top with officials that support Mnangagwa and officials that support Chiwenga. So specifically, if you look at Valerio is a brother to Mnangagwa. He's never going to betray Mnangagwa. But there are many other officials that are aligned to Chiwenga who most likely support Chiwenga, and that fight can become physical. We have one unit of the army taking a position against another arm of the army. The question then becomes, who is willing to shoot another person in the army of Zimbabwe? There's a big possibility here. And this thing is going to play out this week. It's no longer possible for Mhlangwa and Chiwenga to be together in the same government. It's no longer possible. If they attempt it, one of them is going to be taken out through a surprise move. So either Chiwenga will be taken out or Mhlangwa will be taken out. One move has to be made. So Chiwenga has already made his move with the Geza announcement. It's clear that he has not said or disowned what Geza said. So Mhlangwa would then be saying, you didn't disown what Geza said. You are part of it. And on the other hand, Mhlangwa is expected to respond and step down. And he has called the youths. So that is the youths within ZANU-PF. That is what Mhlangwa is using. Mhlangwa is not using the official structures of the army, because the official structures of the army are supporting Geza. As we speak right now, Geza is sitting within the barracks. The war veterans are getting the support from the army. So how then will Mhlangwa use this, except if he goes for the mercenaries and the mercenaries win, take out all the generals and they establish a new army? But whatever outcome comes out of this, Mhlangwa is going to be weaker. And that is what is driving these officials to say, I don't want to be here. I want to be gone. I've been seeing this over the past 2 to 3 months. Many people already left Zimbabwe in the opposition. So that is people that don't have any authority. They've already left. They're living outside the country. They've taken their families, most of them going to cheaper islands, places where it's not expensive to live, because the money is just not there. Most of the guys don't have money, even if they're in government. So they do not have the money to live in these expensive countries. Zambia has become a country of choice. So many Zimbabweans are living in Zambia. Some are living in South Africa. Some are living in Botswana. But those who have real money are in Dubai. So that is where guys who got money are, in Dubai. Right, I want to then look at very quickly, what are the alternatives for Chiwenga? So Chiwenga is a very important player right now. Chiwenga is set to take over today as acting president. Kembo Mohadi is totally sick and out of it. He's not been seen for a long time. So Chiwenga is now going to take over as acting president. Even if it's for a day, he's going to be acting president. So let's see what he does today as acting president. Is he going to say anything? Is he going to do anything? That is Chiwenga, acting president. Again, for the second time, he's going to be acting president of Zimbabwe. Alternatively, Mhlangwa can just appoint Kembo Mohadi as acting president in absentia, or take him out of oxygen so that he can appear for 5 minutes and appear as if he's alive. And then they'll put him as acting president. There are so many things that can happen. But I believe that Chiwenga will be acting president from today again, and we'll see what happens at the end of the day. What will happen? What are the speeches that Mhlangwa is going to give? There is a lot that needs to be said that has not been said between the two men. That is Chiwenga and Mhlangwa. With Chiwenga, the person with the most to say, Chiwenga and Chamisa, they do have a lot to say. Do they support Geza? That question is arising. Does Chiwenga support what Geza said? Is he going to accept a position that is given by the war veterans to take over because of Mhlangwa's failure? So that is something that we're waiting to hear from Chiwenga. But Chiwenga normally, he doesn't say a lot. When he says something, he normally says it in an official setting. So it's very rare to see Chiwenga speaking outside of the official setting. So most times that Chiwenga speaks, he's going to be on a podium. That is when he delivers a speech. I've rarely seen Chiwenga speaking on an interview. He normally speaks when he's given a platform. Very interesting if you watch Chiwenga, how he behaves. and how he moves. So very important. But this is a week to which I can say is a transformative week. It's going to change everything. And if you're in Zimbabwe right now, just pray that things go well and do not disobey the orders that have been given. On the 31st, stay inside your house. Don't open a school. Don't open a business. Don't move your truck to the borders. Start moving your truck back to Zimbabwe. On the 27th, it's going to get very bad. People are very angry. And if you are caught in the crossfire, something bad is going to happen. Already around the country, people are uprising. So vendors are uprising. The Bulawayo State Council has failed to move the vendors as we speak. The Harare State Council has failed to move the vendors. The Mutare State Council has failed to move the vendors. Many people are finding their voice and they believe that they can actually push Mnangagwa out. And that belief is very dangerous. So on the 31st, in fact, on the 30th, which is Sunday next week, avoid making plans to go into town. That is the first place plan. Then those who need to go into town, make sure you understand where to get a bus if you're going to go and protest. And make sure you understand that this is not a normal protest. You're not going to walk and march. If you're going to go into Harare City Center, you must know that you're traveling to Mnangagwa's house, which is State House. That is the plan in this whole thing. That is what has been communicated. The purpose of the march on the 31st is to go to Mnangagwa's house and remove him from there. That is what these guys are doing, and this is what they have communicated. So let's see what happens. Let's see if the military is going to be put out, what the police are going to do. Intelligence, Zimbabwe intelligence, most of the guys have already flipped. They're on the side of Chiwenga now, and they're not even taking orders as we speak. Right, I think we've covered everything that I wanted to cover here in terms of this first story. 17 minutes. I am talking longer than Makandio. Now let's go to some stories very quickly. I want to go to the University of Zimbabwe. What a mess at the University of Zimbabwe. So let's go to the University of Zimbabwe. I want to see this lecturer here. If I've got a picture of this lecturer, James Sabora. So James Sabora is a lecturer in the law faculty of the University of Zimbabwe, together with one of the most popular people in Zimbabwe, Fadzai, she's over there, Mdara Maduku, they're over there. So there is an exam called Criminology and Criminal Law, which was being written last week. So let's get Mhlangwa out. So there is an exam called the Criminology and Criminal Law, which was being written last week. A blessed Mhlanga was supposed to write this exam, the journalist. And according to news reports today, that exam was leaked. So the exam paper was leaked and the students could not write. They had to redo the paper, and then the students managed to write the exam. So that is showing the poor controls at the University of Zimbabwe in terms of maintaining security around the exam papers. So that is crazy and unbelievable. But James Sabora says the UZ is actually still a credible institution, and people should trust the results and the exam certificates that come from the UZ. I don't know what kind of a person would want to leak a law exam, because a lawyer must know what he's doing. So if you're a lawyer, I expect you to be a person who likes detail, who doesn't guess. So I don't understand why someone would leak a law exam paper, because lawyers, you do a lot of paperwork. But with the coming of ChatGPT, most lawyers are just ChatGPT lawyers. they just do things that they don't even know. In fact, there is a big problem with AI, where most professionals don't even care about what they're writing or reading. And then when they eventually analyze the paper that they've written, they see that AI has done a mess. And this is what is happening in the University of Zimbabwe with this exam that has been leaked. Terrible stuff that is taking place in Zimbabwe. And then let's go to Nelson Chamisa. As I said, Nelson Chamisa a very important player in Zimbabwe, but he's been very quiet. So I'm very surprised that Nelson Chamisa has not said anything. I've tried to talk to the guys in Chamisa's team to say, is Chamisa with Geza or not? And Chamisa has not been forthcoming. In fact, I've looked everywhere on the platforms of Nelson Chamisa. And this is very important. He needs to say if he's with Geza or not. Right. All he said is that misinformation and disinformation is a crime of dishonesty. Don't fall for it. So guys, Chamisa, okay, go to his platform, right? And check. He posted this yesterday at 10 to 2. Misinformation and disinformation is a crime of dishonesty. Don't fall for it. So I don't know what Chamisa is saying, but what I know is that Chamisa cannot get out of this one because the most popular person in Zimbabwe, one way or the other, there's going to be an attempt to get him involved. So the situation needs him to say something. Chamisa needs to come out and issue a statement because whatever happens here, it's going to have long and wide-ranging implications. So you can't just leave it. We must be proactive because what's coming here is a war. And someone's going to drop. Watch, mark my word right now. Between now and next week, Sunday, someone's going to drop and it will be a hard drop. It won't be easy in Zimbabwe. It's going to be very difficult. What is going to happen here? So Chamisa needs to be very proactive, say if he's involved or not, and possibly get out of where he is. He mustn't sit around there because it's very dangerous. His name is mentioned. So Geza has mentioned his name. Geza is a wanted man. So Chamisa should not expect that things are just going to be normal. Then let's go to a community story, very sad story that has happened here in, so that is in Harare. A family among those people that have passed away. There was an accident, a very bad accident, which has been declared a national disaster. So among those people are two husband and wife. So it's a husband and wife that has passed away. You can go check out the story inside of the H Metro newspaper. So Sophia Machemba and Enoch have passed away, husband and wife, 35-year-old wife and 42-year-old husband. And their funerals are being held in Zivarasekwa. So out of the 7 people that died, they're all from Zivarasekwa 3. And the taxi that was being driven by an unlicensed driver for Mawindi. So the Windy was driving the car and he crashed into a truck while reversing around a blind corner. So he was reversing back. One woman just stepped her leg into the car when the car was hit and she died on the spot. Another person who was standing on the side of the road was also killed. So 27-year-old Gelo Gunda is the driver of that car. He survived and he's currently being held by the police. Very sad situation. And as I said, 2 funerals being held on the same street for this family here. So go check out that story in the H Metro newspaper. And then Zimbabwe has been denied access to EU funding. So EU ambassador to Zimbabwe, Jobs von Kitchman, has told the independent newspaper that Zimbabwe owes 13 billion, which they're failing to service, and therefore they cannot have access to Europe's money that has been given to other African countries, which is the Global Gateway Fund worth 150 billion euros, which is given to other countries, because Zimbabwe is failing to service their debt. Zimbabwe's debt currently stands at 21 billion US dollars. That is the basic money that they owe. And it's growing every week by between 1 and 2 billion. So the debt of Zimbabwe is growing by between 1 and 2 billion every week. There is no way that Zimbabwe is able to service these debts. They've defaulted at Wange to the Chinese, and they're defaulting in multiple places. So they're unable to pay. If you're failing to pay, you are defaulting. If you're defaulting, you get a bad rating. And eventually, if you're not friendly with the lenders, you can't get forgiven, and they'll start taking back what they owe you, what you owe. So Hwange is going to go, the power plants at Hwange, they're going to go. The Chinese are going to take everything. They're going to take your airport, they're going to take your parliament, they're going to take their mines, they're going to make your rivers a mess. We're talking of rivers. Kafue River in Zambia, right now, has been polluted. All the fish have died because of the same problem. Because Zambia owes 4 billion to the Chinese are going into the mines. They're doing all that they're doing without any controls. And they've damaged the Kafue River. This week, almost all the fish here have died, including the birds, because of what the Chinese are doing over there in Zambia. So the same is going to happen in Zimbabwe. The debt that these guys are creating is wiping out value from Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe is becoming a big dump or a mess under Mhlangwa. Let's see if there's anything else I have forgotten. Bedbridge community news, Bedbridge and Incisa. 6,000 teenagers got pregnant last year, and 85,000 teenagers got married last year. That is the reports in Incisa. Bedbridge and Incisa at the top. Bedbridge, the most highest number of teens that do not go to school. They do cross-border trading. They don't see the value in going to school, because you can make money now without going to school. Why go to school? What is the purpose? And that is how you damage the fabric of our society. Right, I think I've covered most of the stuff I wanted to cover. I've got a sense that my network is gonna go at 35 minutes because of what MTN is doing to me. But let's test it today. Let's test to make sure that are we going to go past 35 minutes or not. There is a student here called Matola. So Matola is a student leader at the Great Zimbabwe University. He has put out an SOS. He's saying to Zimbabweans, please help me. I'm having a serious problem. Matola has challenged the Great Zimbabwe University policy on payment of fees in US dollars only. He took them to court and won. So the Great Zimbabwe University students were then allowed to pay in ZiG and in US dollars. However, after he won that court case, Matola is now receiving threats. People are coming to his door and knocking, and he doesn't see who it is. And he has written to the government, to the general public, and he's also written to the university authorities to say he needs to get some sort of protection from what is happening. So I'm going to put the full statement here for Matola after he made that report and after he won. So Darlington Matola, a student leader at the Great Zimbabwe University, is being haunted after he won a case against the authorities at the university. And he is saying something needs to be done for his security and protection. So check out the full statement. I'll be putting it out today. And they have put a hearing for him on the 24th. So I think most of the university or the Great Zimbabwe University students will be attending that hearing just to see what happens because of the situation there at the Great Zimbabwe University. In fact, Great Zimbabwe University is now one of the best universities. Mdala Zobo has done a good job at the Great Zimbabwe University. But these are some of the things that don't work. This is terrible, what is happening to this young man. Right, I want to then complete everything I'm doing. As I said, South African newspapers are off. I want to complete by giving you Kirsty Coventry speech, acceptance speech after she won the IOC presidency. As I promised yesterday, Kirsty Coventry has done very well. She was voted for by the multitude or the majority of the people who were there. So she did give an acceptance speech. And to tell you the truth, I've never heard Kirsty speaking more than one word. So here it is.
This is not just a huge honor but it is a reminder of my commitment to every single one of you, that I will lead this organization with so much pride, with the values at the core, and I will make all of you very, very proud and hopefully extremely confident in the decision that you've taken today.
Right. All I can say to Kirsty is, now that you've got this job, president of the LOC, leave that position of Zimbabwe sports minister. You don't need that garbage. Go somewhere, somewhere important. Do not waste your time with Mhlangwa. Kirsty, that man is Trababala's interchange has not been completed. Nothing Mhlangwa started is completed. It's a mess in Zimbabwe. Now let's go to entertainment. There's going to be Miss Ebony. So Miss Ebony Zimbabwe on 28th of March. This is a very important beauty contest. And let's see if I can find Miss UZ. So Miss UZ is going to be contesting here. She's called Chengeto Kanyan. She's going to be one of the contestants in Miss Ebony. And one of the most important contests. I think we must do better for our beauty contests. Miss UZ 2024. She's looking good, guys. So support her. The tickets are like this. So it's $20 for early bird, $30 for standard, and $50 for VIP. So please buy the VIP tickets and support her. She's among a lot of other contestants. So I'm going to ask our guys to compile the full list of all the contestants for Miss Ebony here. And as I said, one of the most important contests, the UZ doing very, very well. Lawai Politics has got people over there. NAST has got people. MSU, MSU also has people over there. MSU. Ndopakabuda wana Kimberly Richards. MSU, Nana Sandra Ndivele. University inonakidza iyoyo. Inopisa semoto. Right, I think I've covered everything. Let's recap and then let's look at the comments. We said, because of uncertainty, over 200 officials of Mnangagwa's government have fled the country, including 174 emergency passports that have been applied for this week. Both on the Mnangagwa side and on the Chiwenga side, they're not certain of what is going to happen, with the people on the Mhlanga side afraid that once Geza and his people come in, they're going to wipe out the whole team. And those on the Chiwenga side afraid that if Mhlanga comes out on top, he's going to destroy the whole Chiwenga team, as they expect that Chiwenga will be punished within a very short space of time if he does not manage to remove Mhlanga. It is expected that Mhlanga is got a counter plan, and that counter plan includes taking out some people, and that is going to happen. So there is massive panic within government on both sides. However, the majority of state security, that is soldiers, intelligence, Air Force, military reserve force, war veterans, all of them, they mostly support Chiwenga. But there is a smaller number of people that do support Mhlanga, and those units include mercenaries that have been taken from countries like Sierra Leone, Kenya, Tanzania, and India. So India has been, there are many, many Indians who have been in this space for a long time. Some of them who came from Mozambique. And now that the war from the DRC is over, there's probably going to be more mercenaries coming over from there. Zimbabwe has got a lot of mineral wealth, enough to sustain a war. And this is possible. That is why people are doing this. Now let's go to Mukoma favorite. Mukoma favorite says, unsubscribed to this channel, and yet you're subscribed. Mukoma favorite. It's Zungere Karakuti Makaroiwa. Okay, learn to listen to the news. It's not your job to, if you don't want to listen, don't listen. But if you don't know, you don't have a way of making decisions. So what you want to do is to create a platform for you to get news. It's not my opinions. Mostly, I like to hear my own voice, but mostly I give you the news. And don't worry about me. Chigananda's, it says Chigananda is Wikino Chivayo and the people around it. Let's see what else is here. That's it. Okay. Kirsty winning is an example of a second republic success. No one cares about Mhlangwa. Mhlangwa is the worst person. After the guys in counterintelligence, the worst person is Mhlangwa. Why do you want Chamisa to be known? He will be killed by ED. No, Chamisa won't be killed, but he must leave Zimbabwe. Pokelo, Google her mother lives in Chombo. No, Pokelo's mother does not live with the Chombo. I don't think they are still together. I think there is Marian Chombo. I don't know if that is Pokelo's mother. But Marian, let me tell you about Marian. When I was I did some consulting work for Memju. Marian Chombo came and then became one of the key figures inside Memju's party. And then after that, a lot of other people came. So right now, what you see with the Geza, it started with the Mamjuru. So some of the people who were with Mamjuru are within the Mhlangwa government. They flipped, including guys like Ibo Mandaza. Ibo Mandaza's wife was doing communication work for Mamjuru. Ajelas Mawarire was doing communication work for Mamjuru. She was, if Mamjuru became president, we're not going to hear what's happening now. Mamjuru is very knowledgeable. She was almost the nearest thing you can get to an opposition person in government. So what Chiwenga is doing now, Mamjuru was almost like that. The problem with Mamjuru is she didn't have support in the military. So Chiwenga has support in the military. Mamjuru did not have support in the military. So one day I met Mamjuru at Santon. When I went into that room, so it's Mamjuru, Mdara Mavaire, they came to Johannesburg. And you can check my timeline, there's some pictures there. When I went there to talk to Mamjuru, right, they would allow me to go right next to her and talk to her. That is because I was going to give them consulting on how to communicate their message. The number of security around Mamjuru will be between 20 and 30 guys. And I said, there's no way that this woman is going to be president because all these 30 guys are from Mnangagwa or Mugabe. So the biggest problem is if you're a vice president, you have a person that is managing your security. If you cough, they're going to take their phone and say, Mamjuru has coughed. If you walk to the left, they'll say, Mamjuru has walked. And you get so much misinformation. She had so much misinformation, including guys who were driving it around that worked for the government. So some of the problems that Chiwenga is going to face is the fact that his security is managed by Mnangagwa. So how he gets out from that position is very important. How do you get out from depending on Mnangagwa's security? So Chiwenga has to find a way of getting out of that system. That is what destroyed Mamjuru's ambitions. However, in Chiwenga's case, it's even worse because there is a military factor. One guy can just take you out from all those 30 guys, which is crazy. Right. I don't think there will be a change. Let's wait and see, Mkoma. Nothing is reversible now. It's no longer reversible. If Mnangagwa is stupid, let him continue. We'll think that nothing will change. It will be very bad. Okay. I can see that all the counterintelligence guys are here now commenting, and that is okay. I am okay with ghosts. Zipoko. Right, let's see if there's anything else that I've not covered here. INSCO has released their results. So let's look at the results of INSCO. This is the last story I'm going to give. And this is very important because I want you to see what's happening in Zimbabwe. So INSCO is one of the biggest groups, the retail groups, the only standing retail group which is making a profit. Currently, INSCO has issued a statement for the half-year ending December 2024. And these are their results. So check out. They've made 535 million dollars revenue, which is the 12% increase. They've crossed the $1 billion mark a year. So $1 billion a year mark. This is the biggest company in Zimbabwe right now, in scope. A retail company, and they're making a lot of money. They're also a bank. So they've got a bank. They also have a lot of other underlying businesses, including they've spun off a property company. So this is a sign of how bad the situation is in Zimbabwe. If we're going to do well in Zimbabwe, we need to have companies that can go up to 500 million. That is, multiply this by 10. You need to multiply this by 10, and then you have 100 of those companies. Then your country can do well. Because at the moment, your economy, if it's a $1 billion economy, it doesn't make sense. Most of the money in the gold sector is in the wrong hands. The gold sector should be very big. The platinum sector is dead. What else is there? The steel sector is dead. So as far as mining is concerned, it's dead. The way to go is to go into tourism. So how do you do tourism? You fix the connection. So I'm going to look at the plan that has been presented yesterday with the rail. But what you need is to connect Zimbabwe very quickly. And then you will see that the country will become a first world country. Victoria Falls to Harare, Harare to Beira, Harare to Lusaka, Harare to Johannesburg, Harare to Gaborone. Those connections are critical. These are what Mhlangwa should be talking about in SADC. If you make those high-speed rails and then you make Zimbabwe a hub, because Zimbabwe is so tight for tourism, if someone flies into Zimbabwe, they come and they go into Zimbabwe, into Harare, they go to Johannesburg, they come there, they go to Zambia, they come there, they go to Beira. Zimbabwe becomes a hub. Your economy is going to grow. But at the moment, they've not done it. And Mhlangwa doesn't understand it. You never do it because it's so short. It's looking short term. You won't get it. And those are the kind of advices that we're going to give to someone like Chiwenga. If Chiwenga becomes the president, he's got a massive opportunity to make this happen. And Zimbabwe will do very, very well. The only way right now is to remove that rural look of Harare. When you're driving Harare, it's like you're in a bad village where everything is together and there's no water, it's dirty. The people are walking around looking like they are lost. Going into town should not be easy. Like, people shouldn't just walk around in town. Things should be happening where people live. Now everyone just goes into town and it takes hours and hours to go into town. Someone who's in Chitungwiza, just to drive to waterfalls, especially on a Friday, it's like you're going to Blawai. It takes you 4 hours. So that is the problem. Mhlangwa fails to create the infrastructure. And it's so simple. You need a new leader over there in Zimbabwe. Then things are going to work. Right, I think I've covered everything here. And I'll be back tonight. This is a critical moment. Mhlanga Geza, Mdara Mativela, Comrade Nyoka Mabun, those are people at the front now. But we expect to see more officials coming out this week to deal with this situation so that we know exactly what is going to happen. Chiwenga, people are going to be looking at him. Chamisa, people are going to be looking at him. And Mhlangwa is obviously spoken today to say nothing is going to happen. There'll be no protest. It will be crushed. That's what they've said. And let's see if they manage to crush it. I don't believe they'll be able to crush it. I don't think they do have the power right now to crush anything. Mhlangwa. Okay, I think I've covered everything. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And I'll see you tonight. And a good day to you.